Hello, everyone. We'll give everybody a few minutes to get here and share the link. Give everybody a few minutes to get here and we will get started.
willed all her money to a charity based in Africa.
What about Miss Guthrie? She planted the success photo you two, had access to the house. Her sister full of fish was home all night.
Why are we considering your real parents? Your sperm and egg parents?
Hey, Emily.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I was a little late getting on, so I hope I was having some computer issues. So hopefully everybody's not giving up on me. We'll get started here in just a minute.
Okay.
I'm going to mute out for a minute so I can get going, okay?
Okay.
Hey, Lynetta.
Hi, Stacy.
I'm waiting to see if anybody comes. I need to probably go tag Francis and them.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. You're good, girl.
They hear noises outside. They want to make sure Mama's safe.
I love it. Mhm. We got a little bitty puppy, a little palm. They call him a Pomchi. It's a mix between a Pomeranian and a Chihuahua.
Awesome.
Yep.
I have two Chihuahuas and a German Shepherd.
Oh wow. Ryan wants a German Shepherd. Does it shed really bad?
Yes.
That's the part I don't want is the shedding.
I have to sweep every day. Not that I shouldn't anyway, but I mean, if I do not sweep, then it's just, you can just see a blanket.
Yeah, and see, I'm terrible, Lynetta. I get so busy with everything. There's no way I can sleep every day. No way.
Well, I'm blessed to be where I'm at in my life at this point in time, that I actually have my house paid off and am able to do this.
Yeah.
To do it the way I do it. And I love the GoPro stuff.
Oh, I know. And tonight, there's no way I was looking through because last week we did the Wednesday session, and so that was just Wednesday night from like 6 to 10. So I was able to get through all that, and I pulled up Thursday notes. It's 14 pages of notes on Thursday.
Wow.
And I'm like, I couldn't hardly get through 3 pages last week, and this is going to take a little while to go through. It'll probably take us on into the first of the year, but it's good information.
Yes, it is.
If it wasn't quality information, I wouldn't worry about it. But this is stuff that it doesn't pay for you to go if you're not going to come back and share it. Like Bob Proctor, I think I've got 8 pages of notes on Bob Proctor.
Wow.
Yeah. And so tonight we're going to do Presley. I'm going to spell his, I think it's Swearington, SW, or Swaggerty. Presley Swaggerty. That's what it is. Swagerty. We're going to do him, and we're going to try to get to Susan Sly also. But then the next person after Susan Sly is Bob Proctor, and I'm not even starting him yet. So we'll probably get through those 2. I think we made it through 2 last week, Eric Worre and Gloria Mayfield Banks. So
right.
And then I'll share these notes once we go through them, and then that way you guys have them. You can refer back to them and stuff.
Absolutely. I love it. Love it.
Bob Proctor gets into a paradigm, like talking about your paradigm shift.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, ooh, that one's going to be really heavy. We might have to start that one like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, that one needs to come early.
That one's going to have to be like 8 o'clock because people are going to be. But I'm surprised. I don't know if it's because I forgot to post about it today. I'm surprised there's not anybody on here. Usually they're all like, last week we couldn't even fit everybody on it.
Right, we kept getting people booted off.
Yeah.
I got to stay.
Yep. I don't remember who all was on last week. Do you remember? I know Francis, probably Ebony.
Joetta wasn't. Sharon was. I don't know if Kim was or not. I don't remember if Kim
White.
Yeah. I want to say Kim, but I'm not positive. I didn't actually take notes on who all was on.
Yeah, I did last night because I wanted to make sure they got added, but I didn't the week before. I'm going to just tag a couple of people and see if we can't get some excitement.
Well, that paradigm, that's kind of the whole thing. We take care of our immediates and then go down. So I'm a firm believer in that. And what I was trying to get across last night is that I time everything. And I was taught time management to mark down 15 minutes to go to the bathroom, mark down the 15 minutes that it takes to shower or the hour that it takes to shower. Make yourself accountable for every minute of your day.
Oh my gosh, you're going to so love tonight. And and I'll, once everybody, if we get some more people on here, if we don't, it's going to be me and you.
Well, that'd be fine.
I have been spending some time going back through and calling older distributors that maybe have never gotten started in their business. And I do this about every year where it's kind of like you're purging. You know, and I even do it with my loyal customers. I'll go back through, and on my contacts too. And you guys will start, especially when November hits, you'll start seeing me post like little scripts that I send out to my people, and it's like, hey, you know, I'm going through my contacts. Do you want to stay on my email list? Do you want to stay on my text list? Do you want to, you know, I'm purging. It's the end of the year. I'm getting ready for the new year push. And but I contacted 15 distributors yesterday, and everyone, all 15, when I said, why are you not working your business? All 15 said time.
Yep.
So this one tonight is a lot about time management. And he gives you 3 things: you dream, you grow, and you work. And then there's things to do within dream, things to do within grow, and things to do within work. And that's from Presley. And then that Susan Sly talks about a formula for the NLP, which is the art of persuasion. And that's what she will talk about with her.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I write down my calendar. I mean, I start at 7 o'clock in the morning, and my first thing is when I get up is to call and check on my dad, and I put 30 minutes down for that. So if he is a talking, let's talk. And then I do my feed my animals and my meds and breakfast and my prayer time. I mean, I just kind of try to fill up all that time.
Yeah.
By, 15, 20, 30-minute increments. Whatever works.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to mute for a second and hug and kiss on my babies and tell them good night, because I'll probably be on here. And if anybody comes, will you welcome them? Tell them, give me 5 minutes.
You bet.
Well, 5 minutes and I'll be back.
Okie doke.
All right, girl, I think it's just me and you.
All right.
So we're gonna do this. All right. So Presley Swaggerty, whatever his name is.
Okay.
So the first point that he talked about was it doesn't matter where you begin, you can always change the ending. And I thought that was pretty cool because we all have a past. And it doesn't matter where we were, it's where we're going.
Absolutely.
And then he talked about you have to be sick and sick of being sick and tired, which we hear that all the time. It takes a conscious decision for you to make a change in your life. And I think every single speaker that hit that stage talked about the conscious decision. Oh, you know what, Lynetta? I just got a message from Ebony, and she said, I thought you started at 9:30. I might have started at 9:30 last week.
Oh.
I forgot what time I started last week, honestly.
I think we were a couple of minutes behind getting started. I want to say we started like 10, 12 after, something like that.
Yeah. I'm texting her back.
We'll tell them, come on.
Come on now. It's 9:36 now. So come on. We are starting at 9:30.
That's right. We are.
I just posted it at 9:00. All right. So, and I think everybody that hit that stage talked about making that conscious decision. And sometimes, like, especially, we've already made the decision, obviously, or we wouldn't be doing trainings and getting on stuff, right? So you're kind of preaching to the choir whenever you talk about making a decision to people that actually show up for stuff. But this stuff might be helpful for, as you're bringing in on a team, is helping them to understand that, you got to make a decision. I've got 5 potential distributors right now. And, I've been very, instead of, oh, it's so easy. And no, it's work. And you have to be scheduled. And you are going to have to, I've told a girl a story today. And I said, when I was single with Danielle, when she was 1, when I left her dad, I didn't have a car and I didn't know where I was going to work. And I got a job at a little factory. And I was putting belt loops on pants. And every day I had to go there and I had to stand for 8 to 10 hours in one spot in the sewing machine putting these belt loops on these pants. And I had to show up every day and put these belt loops on these pants, even though I didn't like it. I just show up every single day and do it to get a paycheck. And sometimes when we start in network marketing, it's like you got to show up every day and do this work that maybe you don't really want to do, like calling 50 people or texting 100 people or sending out, 1,000 emails or but you have to do that grunt part to get to the other part. And maybe we're not explaining it well. Whenever some of them come in, they think it's a lottery ticket. So, hey, Ebony.
Hey.
Hey, girly.
I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's just, I can remember what time I started last week, and I'll put the camera on so you guys can see me. I look terrible tonight, but
does everybody know to get on? Cause
I posted it. There's Marjorie.
Okay.
Hey, Marjorie.
So
you can text me if you have questions, Marjorie. Just message me. I was telling Lynetta we really didn't start until 9:30.
Oh, okay, good. Well, I'm right on time.
Yep, we're just getting started. Here's Ryan, everybody.
Hi, handsome.
Hi, Ryan.
So tonight I was telling her I looked at day 14 and there's Thursdays and there's 14 pages of notes. So we're just going to try to get through 2 people. And then next week we'll do Bob Proctor because that one's going to, and we might have to actually start that one at 8 o'clock because it's going to take a couple hours. I know we'll talk to everybody. But tonight we're talking about Presley Swaggerty. If you want to write that down, Presley Swaggerty.
Oh, real quick, I didn't get notes from last week.
Okay, let me write that down so I remember to send them to you. And I need to write down who's on here so I can send them notes. I'll put you down for 1 and 2. And Lynetta and Marjorie. Okay, so I'll kind of quickly cover what I already started talking about. First point with Presley was it doesn't matter where you begin, you can always change the ending. And then the second point with him is, and this is where we were, Lynetta and I, you have to be sick and sick of being sick and tired. It's a conscious decision for you to make a change in your life. And so you guys showing up to stuff, like you're here, you listen, you get on the webinars, you know, come to the meetings when you can. So it's like preaching to the choir whenever I talk to you, but like I was telling Lynetta, some of the stuff that you learn, you got to take back and apply it to your team. Because a lot of times I think we get into the misconception where we're telling people, oh, it's so easy, come in and make $1 million in no time, and they are thinking this is a lottery ticket. So they have to make a conscious decision. I've got 5 people on the line right now, and a couple of people I've talked to the past couple of days, I've actually encouraged them to be customers and not distributors, because I don't want them if they're not ready, if it's not their time. And so filling somebody out, everybody deserves the option, but they need to know that it is going to take work. Like I just had a conversation with the girl I'm meeting on Monday, and she doesn't know how much time she can give it. And I said, you know, well, how much money do you want to make? If I know how much money you want to make, then I can probably tell you how much time it's going to require you. And if you're not willing to give it the time, probably just need to start as a customer and refer everybody to me. And you can be bold when you talk to people, because this is your empire, this is your business, but don't be rude. There's a way to be bold with someone and get your point across, because you are the CEO of that business, without being rude to them, because they still deserve that respect, because all of us might have been at a point in our life where we weren't actually ready to make the decision. And so that's what I encourage you to do. You don't have to recruit everybody. Don't be desperate and just recruiting just to be recruiting. Sit down and interview the person. Ask them some tough questions. How much time are you willing to give it? Are you willing to make the decision? You know, you can even ask if you decide not to do this a year from now or 5 years from now, where are you going to be? Because you're going to have to make a shift. That decision has to be made, and it needs to be made in the very beginning when they come on. Sometimes they might not make it for a year. I know Ebony's on here, and she don't mind me sharing her story. She didn't really get going until we did a thing like this, and it was about GoPro, and she read the book, and she watched the Rise of the Entrepreneur movie, and ever since then she's been fired up. But it took her about a year to get there. So sometimes they're even going to come into your business and sit for a little while, and then they'll get started. This week, in the last 48 hours, in our team, we have had 5 people come back in with a $99 kit that have been in previously. So if that tells you anything, you got to be nice to these folks, even if they are sitting on your team and you get frustrated and you're like, my team's not doing nothing. You still got to love them where they are and just keep encouraging them, because they might come back. I have comebacks all the time. It's just crazy. So make a decision. You got to make a decision. For your life to change, the decision has to happen. And, you know, sometimes you can say, and this was something that he said on stage, it said, get tired of scratching for change to buy a $2 meal. When you get tired of like, you know, I want that $1 burger, I want that whatever, and you're having to scrounge up change to go get it, that's, you know, sometimes it takes those life-changing moments for somebody to make a decision to do different. So he had 3 steps that he told us about. And the first step was dream. And for what he had said under dream was, hold on one second, I'm reading my notes. Some people, what happens to them that steals their dream is they get trapped into living a life that they were never intended to live. So maybe they haven't found their purpose in life. And I don't believe anything's a mistake. God puts people in your path to kind of guide and direct. And so, you know, sometimes it's just helping them find what their purpose is, what they're passionate about. And stop dreaming because people think, a lot of times another thing that crushes dreams is people stop dreaming because people think your dream is too big. Those are kind of like that Jim Rohn where he says you throw the seeds out there and sometimes the birds get them, the weeds get them, the thorns get them. And so if you're just a motto I've lived by, and I learned it a long time ago when I was in Mary Kay, was when you tell somebody, when you share something with somebody, you sit down and have a talk or discussion, your spouse, your mother, your best friend, when you open the door and talk to them about something, that gives them the right to an opinion. So if you don't want their opinion, you probably don't need to talk to them about it. You have to have boundaries, and you got to get up every morning and put on the full armor of Christ. And there are going to be people in your life that you can't share every part of your life with. Doesn't mean you don't love them, and it doesn't mean you have to kick them out of your life. I know a lot of people would say, just remove all, everybody from your life. Well, there's some people you cannot remove from your life. You cannot remove your mother, your father, your husband, your children, but they might not be 100% supportive. And I'll use my story. My mom is not a fan of what I do. She is, she's been in the business. I've had her 2 distributors away from Diamond. Sharon is under my mom. Marjorie is under Sharon, so she's under my mom. I built her leg to where she was making really good money. Well, she turned everything off and canceled out her distributorship after I did all that work because she was making too much money, and it affected her Social Security. When I had her where she was making probably 4 times her Social Security, she didn't even need it. She's only 62. She could have waited till she was 65. But so in order for me and my mom to have a good relationship and me not be angry at her for what she did or not supporting me, what I have practiced over the last year with her, because the first couple of years it was just, we still had a relationship, but I don't know, you could feel the tension because I wanted her to do something that she really didn't want to do. And so I've decided over the past year, which has been very healing for our relationship, is I don't talk at works with her. And when she's here, I try to give her the attention she deserves because she's my mother. And I try not to do calls or not to do, if I've got to answer something real quick, I might do that. But I try to give her what she deserves as my mother when she's around. And I try to do the same thing with my kids when it's, time for karate or time for something that I need to be paying attention to, like a belt test or a recital or for piano, or then those things get my attention, and I don't talk about things that maybe bother them, so then that way it doesn't give them the right to have an opinion. I hope that made sense. I kind of went a little bit long with that. But some people you're just not going to be able to share your dreams with. And
we understand what you mean. That would have broke my heart. I already know it would have.
Yeah, but I can't get mad at her. You just have to love her where she's at, and you learn. Doesn't mean I don't love my mom and respect her. I probably respect her more. Everybody's not going to think like you do.
Yeah.
And it's okay that they don't think like you do. And I did a training last week, and I probably should do some of these trainings that I do here in Memphis once a month with you guys. And we talked about putting people in compartments in your brain. And it sounds crazy, but you got to have these little compartments in your brain. And if you need to write those little compartments on a piece of paper, you write them on there. But people need to go in those compartments. My mom's in the compartment that I don't share it works with her. Like if I have a promotion or something like that, she's proud of me, but we're not going to just sit and talk about it works all the time, or I've tried to invite her to it works events here at the house, and she's just so uncomfortable. So I've decided to put her in this compartment that we don't deal with that. And then there's going to be, your team that you talk to every day. They go in a compartment. There's the teams you talk to once a week. They go over here in this compartment. Your kids are over here in your husband and your family life. And when you learn to separate them, and sometimes they don't intermix, and it's okay if they don't. So that's my advice. Instead of cutting people out of your life, pick and choose who you tell what. If the feedback you're getting when you share a big dream with somebody and it's negative and they're telling you you shouldn't do that, it's not because they don't love you. It's because they're trying to protect you. They think you're going to get hurt, or they think it's whatever they think, that it's a pyramid scheme, or it's this, that, or the other, or you're just dumping all this money into inventory and you're not getting anything in return. They're really not being negative with you because they're just ugly people. Now, there are some of those out there.
Right.
But for the most part, if it's a family member, you know, if it's somebody that you really love and you had a good relationship with before it works, it's probably because they're just trying to protect you.
Well, I was having a similar issue with that because, like, one of my favorite aunties, she had to get surgery on both of her knees. And, like, you know, I've heard your testimony dealing with, like, relief a million times, you know, for lupus and stuff, because I know your body aches. And I was like, oh, my God, because, like, whenever I do get to see her, like, you know, she walks fine, but she has that limp because her legs do hurt from getting knee surgeries. And so I was trying to introduce relief to her. And it's like, you'll text me back and talk to me about anything, but when I ask you, would you be interested in trying relief to help with your knees, like, that's the one time you conveniently can't respond back. And so that bothered me a lot because, like, her two sons, my first cousins, just started a business, and she was trying to tell everybody in the family, make sure y'all praying, make sure y'all support them. And I'm like, but I started my own business, and, like, you're not telling anybody to support me. And I just thought that was real shady. So, like, I'm not gonna hold her in unforgiveness about it, but I'm keeping my distance because that hurt my feelings a lot.
Yeah, it does. It's hurtful. And so that's why you got to there's certain people you just don't talk about stuff to. And one thing, because a lot of the network marketing businesses out there are in the past, and people are very burnt out with them because it's always been about the consultant or the distributor bought things at a certain price, and then they bought them at wholesale from the company, and then they retailed them out to their friends and family, and people that are close to you kind of can get offended by the fact that you're making money off of them. I ain't gonna buy nothing from her. She making money off me. You know, Walmart's making money off you too. You're not thinking that way. But so a lot of people, because of the past with network marketing in the past, before the federal government got in and had all these regulations that they did with network marketing and all these rules, that's the persona that a lot of your family has. It's about, you're not making any money off me. You know, I'm not buying from her. She's just trying to make money off me. So a way you can kind of avoid that sometimes, and a way you might want to approach your Aunt Ebony, is say, you know, hey, I'm trying to give you this product at the exact same price I pay for it. I am not trying to make money off of you. I don't make any money off of you purchasing this product. I make money for opening my mouth. It works, pays me a royalty every month just for advertising. Yeah. Because you're not physically, you make commission off your sales, yes, but you're getting paid because you opened your mouth. You're not getting paid because per se that she bought that product. Like, she's paying It Works Global, and It Works Global is shipping it to her. She's not giving you money.
Right.
It Works pays you, instead of paying for big billboards and commercials on TV and all this, that's what network marketing is. Instead of paying for the advertisement to sell a product, because they could very well run commercials and put it in magazines and
that's what I try to tell people.
Yeah, they could do all that, but instead of doing it that way and having a company that way, they decided to go this way. So they pay us a royalty for doing their advertising. You are an advertising agent. You are a hope broker. And so when you're talking, that's something that has helped me with my family. When I said, look, you're not paying me. You're paying It Works Global. I get paid once a month to run my mouth for It Works Global. I'm an advertising agent for them. Yeah. Or I'll say, you know, I'm a, what is that other one? I haven't said it in a while. That's why it slipped my mind, but it's a good one. And Heather said it in Vegas. I'm a health and wellness advocate, and I just get paid to be a health and wellness advocate. It Works pays me a royalty for that.
Boom.
So sometimes it's shifting your words, and it might just be one word that you shift to totally change the persona. If you're in front of somebody and you're talking to them and they're all guarded or defensive or aggressive with you, and you can read their face and their body language, and you can probably hear my tone change just doing that, then you change your approach. You have to learn to be a chameleon and read people's facial features and body language and their tone back to you, and you flip the script on them.
Yeah, because they can mess with me like when I'm blitzing people. And it's like people will literally like see you walking up to them and like their whole facial expression might change, and like I'm literally right in front of you and wanting to go the other way.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
it can definitely have an effect.
Yep. All right. So, anybody else got anything they want to say about that before we move on?
Tisha says she's having technical difficulties, so she's not doing
Let
anything.
me see if I can message her this link real quick personally.
Okay.
And I'll message it to her. And thanks for telling me, because sometimes I don't get to look at my phone.
She's in the chat. That's how we were communicating, all of us, yesterday.
Oh, see, I can't even see that chat. It's not even up. I'll get this figured out after a while.
Phone?
I'm on my computer, and it doesn't show me a chat.
The chat is to the left side. It should be like this little box, like a little index card.
All right, let me look for that. I just sent her I keep going back and forth to Facebook because.
Oh, okay.
And messaging folks, and then I had Marjorie was messaging me on Facebook, and I was looking on my phone last night when we did the prayer, the Bible study. All right, it looks like an index card.
Mhm. I'm on my phone, so I can't look at my laptop yet.
Oh,
well, I
see it. Hallelujah. Thanks, Ebony.
I found it.
Yay, I see. See, I know we're going to get so good at this stuff that we're going to be able to just do them all the time and reach people all across the world because we're doing Hangouts. I'm so excited. All right, so the next part of dream, because these are his 3 things. 1 is dream, 2 is grow, and 3 is work. So we're still in dream. We're on number 1. And so this was his suggestion. Those are the things that can stop dreams, is that people get trapped in a life that they never intended to live, and then people stop dreaming because other people think their dreams are too big or not accomplishable. All right, so those are reasons a lot of people stop dreaming. So these are some things that you can do every night to avoid that. If you do have the negative in your ear that you can't get out right now because you're having to work towards that, something you can do is before you go to bed every night, I 1,100% believe in a journal and writing everything down, because there's magic that happens from mind to paper and having to write it down, not typing it out. I believe in old-fashioned writing it down. So before you go to bed every night, in your journal, write down your dreams and your goals. And you can, because these will change all the time. If you want to do it once a week or something like that, you can do that too. But write down your dreams and goals every single night. And don't put a ceiling on it. Don't think it's too outlandish or too crazy for you to reach that, because, the Lord parted the seas. He walked on water. All authority is His that He can bless your life with. If you are obedient to Him, He will make you look like what everybody wants, because you're a shining bright star for Him. So don't put a ceiling on it. Write it down. Write everything you want to accomplish. We used to do something called the six most important things to do list every night. So every night before I went to bed, you can write in your journal the 6 most important things you need to do the next day. If you want to just do it daily, like daily goals. Lynetta, I want you to unmute, and I want you to share how you do your every single day, what it looks like on what you do with paper and scheduling, if you don't mind sharing that with the group.
No problem. I learned time management a long time ago, and one of the things that was part of a lesson was for us to write down every day everything that we did. And then the next day we had to actually go in and write down on our calendar and a lot time in which to do that. That way you get your professional development in, you get your prayer time in. I mean, I start at 7 o'clock in the morning, and my first thing to do every morning is to call my dad. And then the second thing is to go feed my chickens and then take my medicine. And so I put it in 15-minute increments so that I know throughout the day what time is it, what am I supposed to be doing. And that way sometimes I get off of it, but most of the time if I do it right, I'm right back into focus of what I need to be doing next. That's pretty much it.
I absolutely love that. So, you could, every night you could do your to-do list, and the next day I believe in living by a calendar. If I don't live by a calendar, oh my goodness, because I'm a procrastinator, and I'm a yes girl, I put way too many irons in the skillet. So if I don't have all that stuff, and I've got 2 kids that are in sports and music and homeschooling, and a husband running a business from home, and me running a business, I mean, it could just be insane. And then now I'm doing 2 Bible studies, and I'm doing 3 Bible studies every week, church things and church functions, trunk or treat tomorrow. I could go on. And it's so much, there's no way I can keep it in my head. And so if you become a very good manager of your time and writing down your goals and your dreams, your team will do that. Until you do it, your team is not going to do it. And until you get it under control, you're not going to attract those kind of people. Whatever you're putting out there is what you're going to get back. That's like some of you are in the accountability group. And if you want to be in the accountability group and you're not, let me know, because I give thought-provoking challenges to make you think. And one of the challenges was to do a video describing the perfect distributor. They didn't know that a week later I was going to do a video and say, for you to get that perfect distributor, you have to become everything that you said in that video. So scheduling and time management is crucial. I've done calls this week with old distributors that aren't active, and all 15 people that I've talked to in the last couple of days, every one of them stopped their business because they didn't have enough time. So if you learn to write your goals and dreams down, and you learn to get really good, get a calendar. And if you don't have a calendar, get out a piece of paper and a notebook from Dollar Tree, $1, and you just go down, and you like Lynetta starts at 7, so 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30, and I'm brushing my teeth. You haven't got to get that specific unless you need that much discipline. I'm brushing my teeth at this time, drinking my coffee here. Mine is more like, all right, Bible study, then I got to get the kids breakfast, I got to get the kids started with their school, then I'm going to sit down, I'm going to encourage 3 or 4 people, and then I'm going to message some loyal customers and message some distributors. Okay, we got to go to piano, we got to go to karate, then we got to come back, we got to do this webinar or that. And so if I keep it organized, my dream, and keep your dreams there with it, so when you start getting the no's, maybe you can look at that and read it, and it'll make you feel better. Another thing that he says is read your dreams in the morning before you go to bed at night, and when you have a bad day. It's kind of like your why. If you have it there, maybe post it wherever you are in the morning, on your mirror at night, or and read them often, because when you're reading that, you're putting it out there in the world.
Stacy. Who is Daisy?
Daisy is an old distributor under Joetta. She messaged in.
She said to please remove her from this. She doesn't want to receive any more notifications. She's not interested. Thanks in the good. Oh, that's rude.
I can't see. I must not be on the right thing.
She just sent it like a minute ago.
I don't know where that's at.
I thought she might have been someone randomly saw the link or something. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
No.
I'm sure she can remove herself out of my circle, because she probably just got an invite because she's in my circle.
Oh, okay.
Because I send it out to the whole circle. I'll deal with that later. Out there on the thing. So the next number 2 is grow. So the first one was all about dreams. Anybody got anything to add about dreams? All right, so number 2 is grow. If you want more, you have to become more. We kind of already talked about that. You will attract the people you become. Be a lifelong learner, regardless of your educational background. Forever read. You've got to read. If you read 10 pages out of a book every single day, it could change your life. Perhaps 3,650 minutes a year. If you read just 10 pages out of a book a day, it's going to equal you putting the effort in for 3,650 minutes a year. That could equal 10 to 20 good books a year. That blew my mind because not a reader. I have a very difficult time with spelling. There was a class I obviously missed growing up, and that was phonics that my kids got because my kids read better than me. Isn't that terrible? But, and so reading has always been very intimidating to me. And writing a paper, extremely intimidating to me because it just was intimidating. So I downloaded this thing called Audible, and it's like $14 a month, and you can get 1 book a month, but it reads it to me, and so I'm not out there going and buying all this stuff, and they stay downloaded forever. Or you can find something really good to stream on YouTube. If you do enjoy reading, I do have made myself read the Bible in the Bible, not listening to it on audio. Sometimes I'll listen to it on audio, but there's something about digging in that word and having that book in your hands. So I do like the book when it comes to the Bible, but anything else that's motivational, I do it usually on CDs. Jody, every single year for Christmas, I'm going to get some kind of inspirational, motivational CD series, and I will play that thing all the time. So, but I thought that was awesome. Just 10 pages a day could equal 15 to 20 books for the year. That's a lot. Listen, instead of listening to the radio, listen to books on audio while in the car. You can download Audible for the first 30 days is free, and I got the book Think and Grow Rich, and that's what we're doing right now. So you can get a free book for your first 30 days if you want to just do it for 30 days. Instead of watching TV before you go to bed, for the last 30 minutes of your day is the most crucial part for your brain. Don't fill it with negative stuff. Fill it with positive stuff. Instead of watching billionaires, become a billionaire and turn off the television. That was huge to me. Instead of watching billionaires on TV, turn off the TV and become the billionaire. They say the last 30 minutes, there's something that goes on with the release of melatonin in your brain, and the light from a computer screen, a phone screen, or a television screen that causes your brain not to release melatonin, and melatonin is naturally released for you to go to sleep. So if you're having a very difficult time going to bed at night, 30 minutes before you want to go to bed, turn off the TV, turn off the phone, turn off the computer, and pick up a book and read it. Or like me, I'll pop my earbuds in and kick back in the recliner, or usually I'm going to bed and I'll put them in. Unless the voice is recorded, and then I'm probably going to watch The Voice as I fall asleep. So that's bad for me. And then the next one about growing is who you run with is very important. It is who you are or who you will become. Whoever you run with will rub off on you. Something that I have friends, I've never been a judgmental person. I'm the same person all the time. But your circle of influence needs to be people that are where you want to go. Now, you're going to have all kind of people in your life, but your mentors, your leadership, your circle of influence need to be people that you're aspiring to be. Because if every kind of influence you get are people that are on the same level as you or below, why would you take advice from somebody who is struggling paying their bills are struggling in their, would you take marital advice from somebody who's struggling in their marriage? Would you take financial advice from somebody who's struggling in their finances? Would you take business advice from somebody whose business is struggling? No. They might be your friends, but they're not your circle of influence. Keep your circle of influence people who already are doing what you want to do. And then when you get there, you might have to pick a different circle of influence. Your circle of influence might be changing all the time. One of your circles of influence could be whatever book you're reading at the time, or that person. But you'll have mentors, the spiritual mentors. You're not going to take advice spiritually from somebody who is brand spanking new as a Christian. You're just not going to do it. All right. You're still going to be friends with them. You're still going to talk to them, but you probably are the mentor. So that's grow. You got to read, listen to books instead of the radio when you're in the car. Turn the TV off 30 minutes sooner than you normally would, and watch your circle of influence. Anybody got anything on that one?
Yeah, I think that's why I'm making it my business to be extra plugged in. Like, if I'm not listening to you, talking to you, I have it's different leaders, like, all throughout the world, because it's like it's not a million of us yet, but if we 10% of a million. So, like a young lady named Ash Elise, I think she is a triple diamond. And like literally, she's like a year older than me, I think. So I like to listen to her. A young lady named Deidre Ewing. She's a double diamond. She's out in Texas. And then, like, I love, like, Jaree. Who else? Goodness. Like, it's so many leaders in the company. Like, and, like, I know I am a leader, like, because I always hear once one person is under you, you are a leader. And so, but I definitely like to listen to people that are in positions that I would like to be. Like, I know, like, people have aspirations to hit, ambassador and black diamond, and like hitting triple diamond would mean the world to me. Like, I feel like hitting triple diamond, I could go further, but triple diamond is like right now my ultimate goal. But like, I love listening to people that hit their rank. They tell you what it takes to maintain it. And Jada say it all the time. Like, if her team quit, her entire team, if everybody quit tomorrow, she knows that she'll be straight because she knows what to do. Because she does this every month. She repeats her steps to success every month. So if she was ever, if her team was ever to quit on her and to just stop what they're doing, she would be fine. And I was just like, oh my God, like, I would have probably hyperventilated. What is she, like an ambassador or something like that?
Yeah.
I can't even wrap my head around that, but at the same time, it's just like somebody used the I think they use the metaphor, like, of you baking a cake. And it's like, you simply follow the recipe when it comes to this business. Like, if you know the recipe, you're fine. But if you go adding in extra stuff, that's when stuff gets messed up.
It's the overthinking, over processing, and over analyzing. You just have to follow the steps. You got to keep it simple and duplicatable. If you make it too hard, why would anybody want to do it if you've got to know these humongous words and all these definitions, and then you get yourself in trouble with the government? Just keep it very, very, very simple. Simple.
But yeah, I agree with that. You definitely, you need to watch who you surrounded by, because I feel like even though a lot of us are in their works, you can't listen to everybody that's in their works, because everybody doesn't have like the exact mindset. So yeah, I try to stay grounded under you for sure, and then other leaders that I love to listen to, and that's I feel like that's who inspires me. Like, keeping y'all close is a good thing for me. Like somebody, if you doing a hangout, I try to make sure I'm on it. If they doing periscopes, I'm listening. Cause you soak information up. Like it's like those childhood stages again. I become a sponge again, and I'm sucking in everything when it comes to this business, I'll say.
All right, I was wondering who Matt was. Thanks for telling me who Matt was, Sharon. I was like, who is Matt? That is Sharon. Okay. All right, so the next one is, I thought, because this is live, anybody in the world can get on these, so I thought maybe we had gotten somebody new on there. All right, so next one is work. So he was about dreaming, about growing, and now it's work. And boy, this one can be, don't be sensitive, okay? Let's keep it real. All right, so here, most people want something for nothing. Actions, what separates the winners from the losers. You got to take action. You can talk all day, but actions speak louder than words. We used to say, your actions speak so loud, I can't hear a word that you say. So actions speak. Our business just takes action. Not making things. Wait a minute. I got to read my own handwriting here. Not making lists, not being organized, all those things, not making appointments, all those things are going to cause our business not to take action. Usually you can tell how successful a person is going to be by looking at their calendar. A lot of leaders say that. They can tell how much money you're going to make that month if they just open up your calendar and see how much stuff is booked. So, and like Lynetta, you probably look at her calendar and you're like, ooh, she's accomplishing a ton because she's scheduled and got it organized. So quickly get yourself organized. And if you're probably a red, you have a hard time with those organizational skills, so that's something you should conquer because you got to be able to teach your team. If there's something you're not really good at, learn to get good at it because you've got to teach it. Do you really want change in your life? Will you get out of your comfort zone? If you are not part of that accountability group and you want to be part of that accountability group, let me know, because it's not hard stuff, but it is thought-provoking tasks that they are given. I think they've done 8 tasks so far, so you got plenty of time to catch up. And it's stuff like making a video of what the perfect distributor looks like. A couple of days ago, I asked them to make a I am video, like I am strong, I am worthy, I am amazing, I'm a winner, I'm a fighter, I'm determined. And it's just a little quick video of positive affirmations that they're telling themselves, and then watch that video every day if you have to start your day that way to get yourself pumped up. So that's getting them out of their comfort zone. Or are you just playing a game? It will take doing things that you don't want to do. I told a story to Lynetta before any of you guys got on here, is when I was younger and I was in an abusive relationship with Danielle's father. And he was alcoholic and a drug addict and physically abusive. And one night, in the middle of the night, I just called up my ex-stepfather and I said, come get me. And we left with no car and no job, no nothing. And I had to, I got a bummed a ride to a little factory every day, and I put belt loops on britches. Every single day, I had to show up to that factory and put belt loops on those pants, even though I did not want to. It frustrated me. I was hot and tired, standing on my feet all the time. But I knew if I didn't show up every single day and put those belt loops on those pants and stand in that same spot, my little 1-year-old wouldn't eat, and I wouldn't eventually get a car to drive where I needed to go to get out of an abusive relationship. So this is a real job in network marketing, and sometimes in the beginning when you're in the building phase, you have to show up every day and do your job. And sometimes you're showing up every day and you're hot and you're tired and you're sweaty and you're frustrated and you just don't want to make those calls anymore and you don't want to send the text anymore and you don't see a result from the efforts that you're putting in, but you got to keep putting the belt loops on the pants. You got to keep doing it. And you keep doing it because eventually I got a car. And eventually, I got out of my ex-stepfather's house, and look at where we are today. But it started with that strength to go do things that I didn't want to do to get where I wanted to go. So that one's one of his points. The next one is attitude. Do be worried about wait a second, I gotta read that better. Oh, your attitude. Don't worry about bothering people. Quit worrying about, I don't want to bug them. I don't want to bother anybody. This man that we're talking about tonight that spoke at GoPro, he was a wealthy businessman, okay? And he said, I am so glad somebody bothered me. I am so thankful somebody bothered me and gave me this business opportunity, didn't give up on me. I was presented this business 4 times before I ever said yes, over like a year or 2 year time span. So it took me a long time to say yes. But don't ever feel like you're bothering somebody. You have a beautiful gift that you're giving them. Now, whether they see it as a gift when you're offering it is not your concern. It's just like our salvation and believing in Jesus, and you have to share with people about him no matter what their response is going to be back. And if you feel that passionately about your business, you're going to share with them regardless of what their response is going to be back. Just don't think you're bothering somebody, because somebody is probably tonight in their prayers praying for an opportunity, praying for a way out. One of the young ladies of the 5 that I'm talking to right now about joining the business, she, I messaged her and asked her how much money she needed to make. She said, it's not about the money. I'm financially stable. I'm not emotionally stable. I said, so you're looking for just a positive group to be around? And she said, yeah. Sometimes they're just looking for positive people to be around and encouraged by. And so whoever's on your chicken list, I challenge every one of you to message them tomorrow. Don't think you're bothering them. The next one is get excited. People want to be excited. Anytime I go talk or speak or I'm in front of somebody, man, I'm just like so excited. I probably scare them. I'm so excited. So I don't care. I'm excited. Get off your rear end and do something. That was literally right here. Get off your rear end and do something. Get out there and make it happen. Make that decision that we talked about in the beginning. You make that decision that I am not, you draw a line in the sand. I'm not going back. If I say I'm going to give it an hour a day, I'm giving it an hour a day. If I say I'm going to give it 30 minutes a day, I'm giving it 30 minutes a day. I'm not going back. Do something special and prove that someone with your last name can do something awesome. You've got kids, grandkids, cousins, nieces, and nephews watching you. You've got sisters and brothers and mothers and aunts and friends and cousins watching you. And maybe they're not joining you right now, and maybe they're giving you a hard time. That aunt that won't listen to you about the relief, Ebony, maybe she's giving you a hard time, but she's watching you. You have to be the light sometimes, and if you want people to believe that it can be done, then go show them that it can be done. If you want people to believe that you're going to get to diamond, then go get diamond done. Quit complaining about your team, quit complaining about people, and just go ask more. If you're not getting a result from what you're doing, then double what you're doing and ask more. All right. And then he talked about challenges. So that was all about work. Has anybody got anything about work they want to add? And so this he added about challenges, which I thought was just phenomenal. He says, the challenges in life are what make life interesting. Most people look at them negatively. Overcoming them is what makes it meaningful. The only way to find limits of the possibility is to go beyond them into the impossible. I'm going to read that again because that was huge. The challenges are what make life interesting. Most people look at them negatively. Overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. The only way to find limits of the possible is to go beyond them into the impossible. So I'll send all you guys these notes so you have them. So that was all from him. Do we want to stop, or do you guys want me to do Susan's slide? Hers is not as long. I could probably get through it in a few minutes.
Go ahead, Stacey. I'm listening.
Yeah, carry on.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Susan's slide. That way next week we can do Bob Proctor, because it's probably going to take 2 hours to do Bob Proctor, if not more. All right, so Susan's slide was the next speaker. And she talked about, it's called A Formula for NLP. And NLP is the art of persuasion. So that's kind of what she talked about, was following this system when you're prospecting or you're talking to people. So I'll give you guys a system. But first she said, if showing up and wanting it was enough, all of us would be successful. 0% of you want to be successful. Wait a minute, 0% of you don't want to be successful because you're not going to quit. But if showing up and wanting it was enough, then everybody would be millionaires in the room. And that was really kind of big to me. You know, a lot of people show up and they want it, but are they going to put forth the work to make it happen? Because the action has to happen. It cannot happen without the action. And you can want it all day long, and you can show up for every webinar and every meeting and everything, but the action's still not there. That daily consistent effort is still not there.
That's real.
Yeah. All right, so then she talked about, I don't know why I wrote this, but it says, who is really committed, 50 to 60. Who is really committed? She said you should be doing anywhere from 50 to 60 presentations a month and anywhere from 90 to 100 calls. I try to do 5 prospect DT calls a day, 5 prospect loyal customer calls a day, so 10 calls a day, 5 days a week, so that's 50 calls a week. That's always been my goal. Now, texting is different, or Facebook messaging. You got to kind of almost times 100 that. You got to do way more of that than you do if you're actually picking up the phone. But you can do that a lot faster, because if you're texting or Facebook messaging, you're usually just copying and pasting. But just understand the numbers depending on what tool you're using. If I can pick up the phone and make 10 phone calls and I got 5 prospect DTs that are on the line, you might have to do 500 to 1,000 text messages to get those 5, but you're able to do those a lot quicker than my phone calls. Does it make any sense? So it all balances out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the art of persuasion. When you face criticism, you always go back to the lowest point in your life. That really, do you think about that? Anytime you face criticism, if you think about the lowest point in your life, that's where that criticism takes you. So you have to not allow that to happen. In the face of criticism, we have 2 choices. We can give up or we can get better. You have to make the decision to be bad enough long enough to get better. So the art of persuasion, one is, what is the universal problem? So and she's talking about when you're prospecting, when you're talking to somebody, what is their problem? Like, we say all the time, what is the need? What is their need? Like all these people that I'm talking to right now about being a distributor, I ask every one of them, how much money do you need to make? What do you need it to be? So you have to, what is the problem? What is their problem? They need to get money? Do they need to get healthy? You know, what is it? So that's your first thing. Find that out. You also want to be relatable. So you need a solution to the universal problem that people can relate to. So whenever you find out what their problem is, then you have to relate to their problem. A lot of time that is repeating back their problem so they know that you heard them and they feel validated. So let's say one of these girls I was talking to, I asked her, what do you need from It Works? How much money do you need to make? And she said, well, financially, I'm stable. but emotionally I'm lacking. So then I repeated back to her and I said, so what you're actually looking for and your need is a more positive environment, a group of women. So I repeated it back to her so she felt validated that I heard her problem. And it validated it for me too, because then I'm not making any assumptions and I'm not assuming that's what she's looking for. I just asked her back to clarify what her need was. So first you got to find out what is the problem, and then you have to relate to the problem to find a solution. Next are, what are the other solutions? What are the other solutions that might not work? So this one, she's talking about you don't need other people or you don't need to put other people or other companies down. So this girl wouldn't work for, but if you're talking to somebody like a loyal customer and you're talking about products, and we've all been guilty of it because we all just think our It Works products are the absolute best and that's what we're supposed to do. But when you are talking to somebody, don't knock another company. It makes you look non-professional. It makes you look horrible. If somebody's talking to somebody from Avocare and they're talking to somebody from It Works and they're talking to somebody, if they're talking to somebody from it and they ask you, well, what do you think about this? Well, whenever somebody asks me about Avocare, I'll always say, well, I think it's probably a really good product, but I think Avocare is more for the athlete, more for the person that's going to weigh and measure all their food and be very rigid. So I don't knock their product. I just give them an example of what I think would be a good customer for Avocare. And then I'll say, our products, I feel like, are more affordable and more for the everyday person. And so I'm not knocking Avocare, but I'm showing what she is saying is saying, what are other solutions that don't work? So that was her step 2. So you found their need, you related to their need, and then if they've got other companies that they're talking about or comparing to, then this won't work because of this without badgering that person. She also said 87% of emails go unopened. And so then the next one was, what is your solution and why are you better? I guess that's where I said, Avocare is for the more rigid person. It Works is for the more budget-friendly, everyday human being that's going to mess up and going to need fat fighters, and the fat fighters are $23 for 60 pills. So find out what the problem is, relate to what the problem is, what other solutions don't work, but without badgering that company. And then what is your solution and why is your solution better? And then what makes me qualified? This was we did a lot of self-evaluation in that Bible study last night. This one is more about self-evaluation. What makes you qualified? Why would somebody want to join your team? Why would somebody want to join your team? Has anybody got any kind of, tell me something about you that would make people want to join you?
I'm excited about the opportunity and about the products.
My 24-year-old just had an emergency. Sorry, guys. I heard you. You are excited about the opportunity and the products, and so people should join you because of your excitement. Right? She says to share your story in that accountability group, and Lynette, I got your text. I'm going to put you in there. If one of the things that was one of the challenges was your I story, and I challenge all of you, we'll probably get to it because I know it's in my notes about the I story, but definitely have some people call it an elevator story, some people call it an I story, but it's about you, and it's a quick 60 no more than 90-second story about you, Okay, and it's something you can quickly tell somebody in a line, something you can quickly tell somebody in the elevator. So share your story. What gives you the right to be able to come out there and talk to them, and why you think you would be a good leader. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to have a good story. Whoever tells the most stories wins. And re-experience the products that you have if you haven't experienced them for a while. That'll help you build a story, is experiencing the products. But they always say whoever tells the best story wins, or whoever tells the most stories wins. You become a very good storyteller, and you become very relatable to people. And then she said, what is the evidence that your product works? And then that's where you guys could show like before and after pictures, before and after hair, skin, and nail, before and after of the tummy. Your personal testimony can be part of your story. And then she said, tell success stories also. Don't tell the big money stories that are like, because people cannot see that. Most people will join your business to be a ruby. They will not join your business to be a diamond or an ambassador because they just can't see that far yet. But they can see 95% of people join to make an extra $200 to $500 a month. And that they feel like that's realistic. But when you start talking to people about making $10,000 a month, they go, yeah, right. You know, you're blowing smoke up my tail, and I don't believe you. So keep it very, very realistic. Tell success stories about taking kids to Disney, or paying off and cutting up credit cards, or paying off their school student loans, paying their rent this month and their electric bill, and buying their groceries with their rack cash. Like realistic, tangible things that people can relate to when you're telling success stories. Save the big money stories for corporate events and later on after you get them in. But when you're very first prospecting somebody, if you go start talking about making that ambassador money, they're going to look at you like you got 10 heads, because they don't believe that. Okay? Keep it very, very real with people. Be honest about what is required in the job. The girl tonight that she wants to make an extra $900 a month. So I told her that's landing somewhere between Ruby and Emerald, making that. And it's probably going to take her at least working this business 1 hour solid a day, and then taking it with her everywhere she went. And that's what I told her. I said, you're going to have to work this solid where you're making phone calls, you're sending texts, you're Facebooking at least 1 hour a day. And then everywhere you go, the grocery store, Walmart, the mall, your family, church, whatever you're doing, you're going to have on some black and green, and you're going to have to give out some cards. And so if you set realistic goals for them and you give them realistic ways to do it, Susan Sly said stick to a strict formula of this is what you got to do to make this. And that's kind of like our steps to success. You got to do this, every month. You need to be looking for 4 customers a month and 3 distributors. And if you really break it down, that's only 7 people. That's 1 customer a week and 1 distributor every 10 days. If you're making the 5 phone calls for customers and the 5 phone calls for distributors every day, if you're doing that little Ashley Sinclair rule of 5 checklist that I do, there should really be no reason why we're not doing the steps to success if we stick to it. Write out your presentation if you need to write it out. Like take these little steps that I just gave you. If you need to write it out, write it out. And get good at presenting and telling the story. She said that if you do these steps in this, she called it the NLP, the art of persuasion. She says you will change your enrollment rate 1/3 or 1/4. If you have an enrollment rate of about 1 in every 3 or 1 in every 4 people, which I always say it's about 1 in 10. That's what I always say. About 1 in every 10 people that you talk to will become a distributor. She said it will change your closing rate to a 90% closing rate. So if you're having a hard time closing, you might want to look at these notes when I send them to you and write out your presentation and start practicing it, because it's just adjusting a couple of things that you say. And you might have to tweak it a few times before you get to the 90%. But it's worked for me. I come home and I've applied these things, and I've been applying this now since we got back from GoPro, and I've had 5 distributors rejoin. I have 5 right now that are potentials that are getting really close. One doesn't get paid till next Friday, and the other one doesn't get paid till Monday. We brought another one in today, partially enrolled, and I don't know how many customers. So just using her formula, being more direct, being very, very honest with people about what is going to be expected. I even had 2 people that they actually re-signed as distributors, but I counseled them to be customers instead of distributors. I actually begged them, please don't come back in as a distributor because I think you would be a better customer. They went on and did it anyway, but it's not like they came in and didn't know that don't tell me this time if you don't make any money because you didn't do the work. So doing her thing has worked for me the past couple of weeks. Tremendous. It has definitely increased my success. So when I send you these things, then you'll have it. And that's really it. That was all of hers. Hers was just all about those steps. So what is the problem? What is their need? Relate to their need. What are the other solutions that won't work, like the comparisons, without cutting that other company in half? And then what are your solutions and why are they better? And what makes you qualified to be the team that they join? And then what is your evidence? And then tell success stories. Not hard, is it? Anybody got anything they're going to add? Because I'm going to stop at her. And we will start next week. It might be like 8:30. We might need to start about 8:30, 9:30. And that way we'll try to be through by 10:30 for doing Bob Proctor because it's going to take a while. That one's and we might not even get through with it next week because his were all about the paradigm. So you guys can Google and start looking up paradigm if you want to.
I don't have anything, but this was good information, though.
Thank you. My notes are, I'm just so much I want to share with y'all, but I'm trying to do it in order. A paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. So that's what a paradigm is. That's what we'll talk about next week. He spent 2 hours telling us how to shift our paradigm. And if we shift our paradigm, then let's see if I got that wrote down real quick. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. And we probably won't even get through Bob Proctor next week. But anyway, that's what it'll be about next week. It's all about him. And you guys see me sharing a lot of his stuff now. I really wanted to do his Think and Grow Rich seminar, but I just have had so much going on with the Bible studies. I didn't get to fit it in. I'm going to see if he's going to put it for sale where you can buy the Think and Grow Rich seminar that he did this past weekend, if you can buy it on DVD. And if he can, I'll probably get it and just pass it through the group. You get it one weekend, somebody else can get it another weekend, and we'll all watch it. Because he's read that book, Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill, every day of his life for 60 years, I want to say. It's probably in my notes. I get confused if it was 40 years or 60 years, but he's read it every single day for that many years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was huge. So that's all I got, unless you guys want to unmute and ask me some questions. And Lynetta, I will go add you to that group right now. And just, you're going to have to scroll through the group and find, and it says on there challenge 1, challenge 2, challenge 3.
Yes, ma'am.
If anybody's got anything, y'all unmute. Hold on, Letitia, I'm looking. Look, let me look. Oh, no, there it is. Amen. She said, because some people don't think the way that we want them to think. Yes. That, man, that was good, girl, because just like, and I always relate it back to my faith, because I believe this business is my little ministry, and so it ties right into my faith. But just like when you're sharing this with somebody, or they don't respond quickly enough to you in a message, or they're not, and just because what you believe or doesn't mean they're going to believe it. Or when you pray, this one's a big one, because we talked about this last night. When you pray and you're like, why ain't he answered this? It's a lot about patience. This business is a lot about patience. It's just being patient with people and loving them where they are, not trying to take them beyond where they can go. Figure out what they actually need. And if somebody sits down with you, and I've done this for a long time, if somebody sits down with me and they say, and I'll show them an income chart, and I'll say, what would be your first goal that you would like to make? And I like the one that shows the monthly income, not the yearly, the monthly. And I'll say, what is your goal? What would you like to make every month? And if they go, I want to make ambassador, before they ever look at executive or ruby or emerald or diamond, like, I know that person is not serious. They are not serious. And I might shift the conversation and say, well, what would you like your first money goal to be? Because we all want to be ambassador. And it doesn't mean they're not a real person, but I might ask again, well, what would you like your first money goal to be? And if they say ambassador again, then I know they're not serious. They're not going to take their business serious. It's just like when you're praying and you give it to the Lord and then you take it back, and you give it to the Lord and then you take it back, and you give it to him and you take it back, and you never leave it with him long enough for him to answer. And some people will get into this business and they won't stay long enough for it to happen, when you probably could have got to ambassador, but you got to do the other stuff too. There's self-development and growth and spiritual growth and becoming a person who deserves ambassador, or is worthy of. Like, I feel like there's a lot of growth I got to do to get there. And once I get there, there's still a lot of growth I got to do to get further, or to teach other people how to get there. So that was awesome, Tisha. Thank you for that.
Stacy, we were talking about prayer, and a lot of times I think we don't pray specific enough. The Bible tells us to pray specific, exactly for what we want.
I agree. Something the War Room has got me doing is, and I didn't do it before, and it's really mind-blowing, is I'm writing them down, journaling your prayers. And it seems like when you write things down, and you're like, it's almost like writing God a love letter. And Miss Clara in that movie wrote everything down. And when she mentored Priscilla Shiver, she sent her home with this, like, a journal binder in the movie, and she sent her home with this journal full of prayers that she had prayed for her spouse or her life in her war room. And I think if you want to get real specific, sometimes writing your prayer down, if you have a hard time vocalizing it, but write it down and ask exactly what you want, and pray in scripture, and put a lot of people in your prayers. Pray for everybody. Pray for who you want to join your team. Pray for where you want to go. I'm already praying for Ryan and Brett's wife. They're 7 and 8, and I already pray for a spirit-filled, godly woman for them to marry. And that's important. You got to pray over your kids right now. I pray for Danielle. We've been praying for her to get a different job. I don't like her working in that gas station from 10 at night to 6 in the morning. in that part of Cordova that's just not safe, that's been robbed every time you turn around. And yeah, you do have to get real specific in the prayer, and pray for him to reveal things in you that you need to do different. Because we could all use something different, I'm sure.
And sometimes we miss the answered prayer.
Mm-hmm.
We may not see it in the same aspect as he.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes sometimes he says no. I think Sharon told me that earlier today. Sometimes he did answer you. The answer was just no. I think it was Sharon. Was that you, Sharon, that said that today? I don't think she's on here right now, but I think it was her that I was talking to, and she says, well, he did answer. He just said no.
Might not be what you want to hear.
That's right. But his plan is perfect, and there is absolutely, that's why we were talking last night in the Bible study about give it to him and quit taking it back, because you can't fight it, but he can fight it, and every time he fights it, he's going to win.
Stacy,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm on here. Yeah, it was me that said that. I can't remember where I got that from, out of a book I've been reading. So sometimes it says God always answers prayers, but sometimes the answer is no.
I love that today, Sharon. I've already shared that a couple of times. See, we share this stuff with each other, and I promise you, if you share something with me, it's embedded in me, and I've probably written it down because I write notes when we even do this stuff, and I share it. So don't ever think when you're sharing with me that it's not going to go further, because whatever you sow into me, I'm sowing into others. And whatever I sow into you, I hope you will sow into others, because that's the only way this life is going to work.
Are you saying I need to be careful about what I say?
No, you tell me everything.
I'm just teasing.
I've already shared that a couple of times today. I thought, man, that's a good one. I like that. But Marjorie's messaging me. Let me see. Hold on, Marjorie. I'm getting there.
So, Stacy, we're going to set it for 8:30 next Thursday.
Yes, Lynetta, 8:30, and we'll do it. We'll start at 8:30 just so because I think Bob Proctor is going to require a couple of hours. So Marjorie said, so true, so true. But it is an answer. Even if he said no, it's still an answer. That's good too, Marjorie. Oh, you are. Oh, you're talking in that Rappers. I'm sorry. Yes, you are. I didn't pay attention. I just saw your name pop up on my phone. But it is true. Even if it's a no, it's an answer. Might not have been the answer you wanted, but it's an answer. Anyway, guys, that's all I got. And thanks for getting on here. And we're getting better at this. We found chat tonight. I don't think anybody broke up tonight. Last night there was so much interference. And if you go back and watch that video, it looks like I talked over a bunch of you guys, but I never even heard you talking. But on the video, you can hear it plain as day. But whenever I was sitting there doing this live, I never heard you say a word. So if I talked over anybody or I didn't answer any questions, it's because I did not hear you. And so text me like Marjorie did. If you're trying to say something to me and we're on these Google Hangouts and I'm not answering you, it's because I don't hear you. So text me or message me so I can stop and try to figure out why. But we didn't have a good connection last night. So tonight was phenomenal. But that's all. Go ahead, Lynetta.
I just said absolutely.
Yeah.
It was great.
So next Thursday night at 8:30 for the GoPro notes, and I'll send these out to you guys right now in a message, and then Wednesday night at 9 o'clock for the Bible study.
Awesome.
All right, love you guys. Y'all have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
All right, bye.